the tension inside the MotoGP paddock is rising again. Engines may not yet be screaming at full throttle, but behind the garage doors, negotiations, expectations and uncertainty are already creating a storm. At the center of it all stands one man who has defined an entire generation of racing: Marquez. For Ducati, securing the future of their biggest star should be simple. The partnership has already delivered success, speed, and global headlines. Yet the contract that many expected to be signed quietly has instead turned into one of the most talked-about situations in the paddock. The reason? Marquez himself has pressed the pause button. And the surprising part is this: the seven-time world champion is not asking for more money, nor demanding a special technical package. His condition is far simpler, but far more personal. Before committing his future to Ducati, Marquez wants to prove one thing first: that his body can still fight at the very front of MotoGP. Marquez currently remains under contract with Ducati until the end of the 2026 season. Discussions about extending that deal until 2028 have already begun behind the scenes, a clear signal that the Italian manufacturer wants long-term stability before the major technical regulation changes set to arrive in 2027. From Ducati's perspective, the logic is obvious. Lock in the star rider early, maintain continuity, and approach the new era of MotoGP with the strongest possible foundation. But while the factory from Borgo Panigale is eager to move quickly, Marquez has chosen a more cautious path. The Spanish rider has made his position crystal clear. He wants to begin the 2026 season first, assess his physical condition, and only then decide whether he is ready to commit to a long-term future. The contract extension with Ducati is good for both sides, Marquez explained calmly. We are both happy, but I asked Ducati for one clear thing. I want to start the season first. I don't want to sign anything while I'm still recovering from injury. It is a statement that reflects a very different Marquez from the fearless, all-or-nothing rider the world once knew. The reason behind his caution lies in the painful memories of late 2025. After securing the World Championship, Marquez suffered a serious crash in Indonesia that forced him into another complicated surgical procedure on his right shoulder. The operation was far from routine. Surgeons even had to adjust screws from previous surgeries. A reminder of the long physical battles that have defined his career over the past few years. The winter that followed was brutal. Instead of enjoying the glory of another title, Marquez spent months focused entirely on rehabilitation, regaining mobility, rebuilding strength, and trying to restore confidence in his body. Now at 33 years old, he knows that recovery is never as straightforward as it once was. After an injury, you never really know what your 100% is anymore, Marquez admitted honestly. People ask me if I'm at 100%. The truth is, I don't know what my 100% is now. Sometimes it drops by 1%, sometimes by 20%. For a rider whose career was built on pushing beyond the limits, learning to accept those new boundaries has become part of the challenge. The upcoming rounds on the MotoGP calendar could become the true indicator of Marquez's condition. One event in particular is already being watched closely: the Brazilian Grand Prix. Marquez himself believes that race could provide the clearest answer about whether the lingering pain from his surgery has finally disappeared. Racing without pain. We will see, he said. I hope it can happen in Brazil. I'm always optimistic. But first I need to find my new 100%. Importantly, he emphasizes that this new 100% is not necessarily the same level he had before the injury. Instead, it represents a new version of himself, one adapted to the physical realities he now faces. Inside the Ducati garage, patience remains the official strategy. The factory already possesses one of the strongest lineups on the grid, with Marquez alongside champion contender Francesco Bagnaia. But the longer the contract situation remains unresolved, the more speculation inevitably spreads throughout the paddock. Ducati knows that securing Marquez beyond 2026 would not only guarantee sporting stability, but also maintain their dominance as MotoGP approaches a major technical reset in 2027. For now, however, the manufacturer appears willing to respect their rider's request. After all, the relationship between Ducati and Marquez has already proven to be one of the most powerful combinations in modern racing. Another topic quietly circulating around the paddock is far more dramatic. If Marquez manages to capture a 10th world title this season, could he decide to retire at the peak of his career? It is the kind of story that motorsport loves. The champion who walks away on top. Yet Marquez himself refuses to think that far ahead. "Retirement is one of the most difficult decisions for any athlete," he said. "Knowing when, how and why, I don't think you can plan that years in advance. One day I will feel it myself. That moment could arrive soon, or it could still be years away." What makes this situation fascinating is how much Marquez has evolved as a racer. Earlier in his career, the rider from Cervera was famous for pushing through pain, ignoring physical limits, and riding with relentless aggression. Injuries were simply obstacles to overcome. Today, the mindset is different. Years of surgeries, particularly the devastating arm injury that once threatened his entire career, have forced him to become more reflective. Instead of chasing every opportunity blindly, Marquez now prioritizes longevity and physical sustainability. In many ways, this is the most mature version of Marquez we have ever seen, and that could actually make him even more dangerous. If he manages to rediscover his full rhythm with the Mercedes, the combination of experience, intelligence, and raw speed could place him firmly back in the hunt for MotoGP's ultimate prize. For now, the message from Marquez is simple: no rush. The contract will wait, Ducati will wait, even the paddock will wait. Because before signing anything, the 9-time world champion wants certainty about the most important factor of all: his own body. If that body finally responds the way he hopes, the story could become legendary. A 10th world title, a revitalized partnership with Ducati, and perhaps one last era of dominance. And if that happens, one thing is guaranteed: the MotoGP paddock will become hotter than ever. Beyond the immediate contract talks, the atmosphere around Marc Marquez is creating a ripple effect across the entire MotoGP grid. Team managers, rival riders and factory bosses are all watching closely because his decision could reshape the rider market far earlier than expected. When a figure of Marquez's stature hesitates before signing a long-term deal, it naturally raises questions about what might come next.